Yeah.
That makes sense.
And we've got
it looks like we have
another
a
match.
Yeah. So it looks like we have Sam on Infect against Keenan on Bug Control.
Yes, so Sam Burse actually is a New Jersey native.
Okay.
He used to be a JSS superstar years and
Okay.
years ago.
Do you
And
know
I think
anything
that-
about Keenan?
I don't know anything about Keenan, but I think that they are on the wrong names. I think that's Sam. I'm not 100% sure, though.
But this should be an interesting matchup. Generally, Infect has a strange matchup against Control where it either gets totally under them or gets
Or
locked
wins
out.
on turn 2.
Yeah. Sometimes it
Wins on
gets-
turn 2 or does nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's both a side effect of just how volatile the Infect deck is with a bunch of creatures and a bunch of pump spells, but also that the Infect Legacy deck is actually slower with better pump than the Modern variant because it has all of these cantrips and things it's doing with its mana and wastelands.
Well, it's more explosive. Like it kills you in one shot much more often.
Like just Invigorate Berserk. Things
Yeah.
like that. But it often sets up a lot more cantripping. You know, it's a Force of Will Days deck. So sometimes it just plays a poor control game and has these weird 1/1s that don't do real damage.
Yeah.
So it's certainly a strange deck.
I think it's a constantly underrated strategy in Legacy, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the more resilient combo decks in that, like, it's as consistent as Sneak and Show, but sometimes you get to block also.
It also gets to play Daze, and like Daze is good because of Noble Hierarch.
Yes. You just don't mind picking up your land.
Green Sun Zenith, they often have a Dryad Arbor.
Okay, so this is certainly post-board. It looks like Keenan has Submerge in his opening hand, which is going to be fantastic.
He has Submerge, Misty Rainforest, Wasteland, Ponder, Brainstorm, Deathrite Shaman, True Name Nemesis. Good hand.
Submerge also notably, basically always on in this matchup because Sam's going to need a forest to cast his own
Sam
Invigorates.
has Probe.
And
I think Sam has Probe, so...
Yeah, I believe this is a Probe. But so because Invigorate is turned on when you control a forest as the Infect player, you're always going to have a forest turning on your opposing Submerge.
Yeah, so, yep.
So the Submerge is basically just always on no matter what, even if he's on just an Inkmoth Nexus start, because the only way Inkmoth kills you is with Invigorate Berserk. So we're going to always see a forest in play, unless he just doesn't have a Berserk at all. Yeah, so there's the forest.
Is it a Guru Forest?
Yes, that is...
That is for mass
the most expensive non-foil forest you can have.
It just might be the most expensive forest you can have.
The Judge Foil fluctuates between the two. The Therese Nielsen full art set of 5.
Therese Nielsen Panorama?
Yeah.
Sure.
But, I mean, historically, Guru has taken the cake as the most expensive.
Guru Island is like $250.
Yes. And the Therese Nielsen one's only about $150.
All the basic islands, or like, all the basic islands in my standard deck were foil. Or were Guru. That'd be sweet. Shakti Yusoka always plays with Gurus. He's at, all his lands at the Pro Tour were Guru.
But he's also potentially a player who actually participated in the Guru program.
Sure.
Like, legitimately during 2001.
Okay, we have Magic being played. Enough of our hipster price argument.
So we had a turn 1 Glistener Elf into a Noble Hierarch, giving it an Exalted trigger. So the life totals look a little strange, but I do promise that they are still all real numbers.
I thought it said Keenan was at 9.5, and I'm like, he's almost to Hogwarts. He needs to get to 9 3/4.
I was going to make a joke about the irrational number I being the root of -1.
Okay.
The Hogwarts joke.
I'd rather make a Harry Potter joke.
Better.
Although the joke is probably our audience is probably more likely to get your joke,
the math joke,
than the Harry Potter joke.
Other
Although
nerd subculture.
It's a toss up.
Yes. So we see a Deathrite accelerating at a True Name. So both players are basically executing their gold fishing game plan as well as they'd like. Keenan feeling safe to tap out, probably because of the back of that Submerge.
Also, True Name is very good against Glistener Elf.
Oh, yes, quite good at blocking.
And altered Tropical Island to be nighttime.
Yes.
That's cool.
It's a beautiful altar. So it appears Sam is just not a fan of foils.
I seriously doubt this is Sam's deck. I don't think he's...
Oh, okay.
I think he's been in and out of Magic. Like I said, he was a JSS ringer when he was a kid, but I don't know what he's been doing lately.
Okay. Well,
he definitely hasn't been consistently playing Magic this entire time.
Oh, okay. So he's just... Okay. Whoever owns this deck, though, labor of love.
It could be his deck. I guess there's no reason why it couldn't be, but...
So we're going to see a Brainstorm allowed by the most fair mana dork ever. The mana dork that's also a pump spell, Noble Hierarch.
Yeah, it's a great mana dork. I think Deathrite Shaman is more broken, though.
Yeah, but Deathrite Shaman not able to be played in Modern. Noble Hierarch skirting that line well. As, rather than being a one-mana Planeswalker, just a bird. With some relevant text that sometimes blows me out when I go to block.
Sweet text.
Exalted Trigger is also
Do people
not
do
new.
that? Not mention their Exalted Trigger
No. And
until
then they're
like
just
you've
your thing's
lost?
dead.
That's terrible.
Well, so it's blown me out once, and it's my fault for not asking how big their creature was. Because at competitive REL, there's
They don't have to answer you.
yeah, no,
But they
do have to
can't-
give me a roundabout answer.
Well, they can
They can say
like
you figure it out, but they can't just say it's a 1/1 when it's not.
yeah, they don't have to answer you, but if they answer you, they can't say anything that's untrue.
Yes.
That's the way it works.
So once you ask, you can usually suss out if something's wrong.
Oh, we got deck lists here too.
But if,
Sweet.
Yeah, but if you forget to ask, you just will get blown out. It also happens to me more with Swift Spear and Prowess than it does with Exalted. So the bug control list is a relatively normal bug list. We have 2 Hierarchs, 1 Sylvan Library, 1 GT main. Everything else is relatively stock. 3 copies of True Name. And 4 Goyf main, 3 Fatal Push. I would assume the Fatal Push are still in, right? That card's quite good against the 1-drop creatures matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
no, I think Fatal Push is fantastic. I think True Name is... not True Name. Hymn to Turok is a tough card.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of tension between it being really good when you can cast it, when you're not super far behind on board, and doing almost nothing when they'll just untap and kill you. Because they have so much redundancy to the cards that are in their hand in the mid-game.
So a question I have is, do you like Flusterstorm in this matchup? Because even though it's creature-based, there's often a flurry of spells before you die.
I like Flusterstorm from both perspectives. I especially like Flusterstorm from the Infect deck's perspective to protect the fights.
Okay, so we actually see both decks have Submerge. So Submerge probably more on Sam's radar than the average player, since he's also on that card.
Yeah.
Do we think he boarded that in, or do we think he's firmly the offensive role?
I think he can board it in. I think it's justifiable.
Okay.
I think that his islands are under a little more pressure than Keenan's.
Okay.
Like, because of Wasteland and stuff. But I do think that he could definitely board it in, and it's justifiable.
Do you think Dispel is for this matchup? Out of the Infect deck? Just like actual Dispel?
Yeah, I worry about something like that because of I think you're going to do that. You burn Flusterstorm only, just because I think that Abrupt Decay, like Abrupt Decay just like blanks your Dispel and stuff like that.
Okay. I can get behind that logic. I think that makes sense.
I don't know for sure though. I think you board in one or the other. Like he has Spell Pierces that he might want to upgrade because I don't think he's playing around something like Liliana of the Veil.
Do you like the Spell Skite out of the board to try to blank some removal spells?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay.
I like Spell Skate against any Abrupt Decay deck.
Are you trimming? So are you trimming some of your interaction then? Are you going down on something like Dazes, Forces, anything like that? Because you figure you're getting the cheaper interaction.
I go down on a couple Dazes, or Forces, but like Forces are like medium against Abrupt Decay decks.
Okay, so here we see a Draw Step Vendilion Click come down.
Yeah, that's the thing about Infect is that it really has a hard time dealing with creatures.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened to that True Name Nemesis?
Unclear. We went super down the rabbit hole trying to discuss how they may have sideboarded, and we missed it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I was thinking Submerge originally, but that's not a thing you can do. And I don't think there's any spell in Sam 75 that would have turned off the protection ability.
Maybe it just got countered.
Yeah, maybe we just
and it never was actually in play.
Dazed. Yeah.
That was awkward.
Could have gotten forced.
Yeah. Okay, I think it got countered.
Yeah.
It was just weird when we looked over. It looked like it was in play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must just be a thing I like to do is I like to put my spells that are being cast on top of the lands casting them.
Yeah.
Put it into play.
I think that's a justifiable thing to do.
But sometimes you just jam in.
I'll just like awkwardly hold it like this, like an inch above the table.
The worst is when
okay. So Sam is casting Vines
kicked
in response to Vendilion Click's trigger.
Yeah, and it looks like it's kicked also.
Yeah. So like this is like a roundabout way of making it a removal spell. I really like this play because he's essentially like drawing out a chump block.
Yeah. Well, also he may just be on like only Berserk as his other pump. And at that point, the Berserk isn't something he can cast right now.
It'd be crazy if he had double Berserk and he's just dead.
Oh, he just wins? Yeah, that would be fantastic. Or if he cycles a Berserk into a Berserk off of the click ability.
Yeah, I think that's significantly less likely than him just... I don't think either of them are very likely, honestly.
I mean, he's only on 2 Berserk anyway.
So I mean, if he had something like Submerge or Oh, he can't cast Submerge because his opponent doesn't have a forest.
Yeah,
so
he has a basic forest.
Sam. His opponent needs. Yeah, I'm saying
Sam can't cast Submerge.
Sam can't cast Submerge on Vendilion Click.
I was thinking about in response to this Vines kicked. Do you Submerge?
I think you definitely Submerge because the worst case scenario is you're just going to block, right?
Yeah. And
Like,
you
he
also
can't-
just like it turns your click into a more safe Thoughtseize because you just know he's just drawing a medium Glistener Elf.
Yeah. I mean, it's also just fine to block now. Like,
Yeah.
blocking when the fight is being made is sweet because you know that they have less resources to like mop up with afterwards.
Yeah.
It's also possible that you just let it happen and chump and then can like legitimately, garner value from the submerge on a subsequent turn.
Yeah.
There's like two camps, and I think I would just submerge now,
Yeah.
just because. But the downside of submerging now is that there's still an attack with the other Glistener Elf.
Well, you also just like might get dazed or forced and just die.
You're not gonna die.
Well, so if you
can die if his hand is double berserk and dazed.
What if his hand is just dazed, force blue card? Just like this is all still with click on the stack, period, not with the trigger on the stack.
Oh, is it? I thought that
believe
the
it's
trigger
all
was
with
on the stack.
Click actual on the stack.
Because again, the click is in play, so we thought it was
it's
in play.
difficult to tell, but I would think that Sam still has this blue source untapped off this Noble Hierarch too, so he may have something like a Brainstorm also. The priorities right now.
I mean,
on
if he
Keenan
doesn't submerge now, he can't submerge ever.
Yeah, because
If that's
he'll
the
have
case.
hexproof.
Like, if he doesn't submerge now,
But
he can still just force the click and nothing changes, right?
Yeah. And then you just don't have a blocker. So this is also largely relevant as whether the click is actually in play or not. And so, I mean, I don't think Keenan really has anything else he can realistically do anyway. I think it's he's on Submerged Decay cantrips. So you're not really making a decision between two things. You're just deciding whether to act.
This is very interesting, and I'm unsure what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure that this decision should be this hard, though. Like, I don't know.
Oh, that thing is 4 infect. He already has 4 infect.
Oh, so this is just lethal to the
It's
attack
not-
if
yes,
the click
it's-
gets if the click gets
It's not
countered. It's just
weird
6.
irrational numbers. Yeah, so he has to have, like, an answer to submerge and
Like
a
a force
daze
or
or
a daze.
force. Which is possible.
Yeah. Well, I think you.
But, like,
also
you
just-
can't not submerge here because then all he needs to have is a force or a
Yeah,
daze.
well, you can also just let the click enter and just trade the click for your Glistener Elf or whatever. You just put him to 5 poison and eat his card. So this looks like a force. Oh, it's an Invigorate on the other creature. Oh man. Well, that's not legal right now, right? Berserk
That's a
is-
sorcery.
No, I think Berserk
is
is
Berserk
but it's
an
got
instant?
a weird combat clause. This is game. I just don't think he's sequenced it legally. I'm not certain how Berserk works. This is definitely going to be game in a legal manner, though. So largely irrelevant whether he sequenced something awkwardly.
So he did have the Berserk. This is crazy.
Yeah, for some reason I thought Berserk was only on attacking
All right,
creatures. Are we
Sam
sure
played
Berserk
that
works
game
this
great.
way? Oh, Berserk is only prior to damage. Okay. 'Cause
Yeah,
I was
cast
thinking-
only before combat on your
Okay,
turn,
so
I
I
think.
was thinking that he couldn't Berserk in response to the click, but it turns out he just had it the whole time.
I didn't even know
anyway.
Berserk was an instant.
Oh.
Guess I didn't do my research.
I was very sure Berserk was an instant. I just thought it was like larger than life, or not larger than like the Built to Smash. The thing that only works on attackers in limited.
Oh, okay, sure.
I thought it was
no, like
only
it
on
dies. The
attackers.
creature dies at the end of combat.
Yes, you can also use it in a fancy way on your opponents.
Yeah, I know. I just like have berserked my opponent's attacking Stoneforge Mystic,
Yeah, you're like, I'll take 2.
and it just died.
Yeah.
And we're
So,
back up to
yeah,
the booth.
coming
So
back up to the booth. That was our last match.
quite a web Sam wove there. That was a
Yeah.
really really well played turn.
Yes.
Very
around a lot
impressive
of
for
things.
sure.
Played around a lot of things he needed to worry about. So that was masterfully played.
He just got him to bite on the submerge,
Yeah.
and then.
And then he just
But it
had-
actually doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, no, the other threat was
Because
lethal to all already.
If he doesn't submerge, he's just going to berserk that
Yeah,
threat,
and it's hexproof.
and it's untargetable.
So
yeah,
that-
yeah.
So that was. I think Sam may have just had it no matter what. If he knew what Keenan's hand was, like,
Yeah.
if they both had perfect info, Sam would just reveal his hand and be like, "I win no matter what," which was a funny result for a stack.
That was a
took, like,
really
5
interesting
minutes.
stack, yeah.
So we get to actually see how he boarded. He brought in both submerges, the click,
Click,
the G charm,
Golgari Charm.
the pithing needle, and a Flusterstorm,
Yep.
and a toxic
Makes sense.
deluge. So he just bought it. Keenan, as the control deck with control in its name,
And
adopted
Sam
the
has
control
just
role.
taken
Taken our playmat?
the playmat like it was his playmat.
Yeah.
And he's gonna get away with it.
Yeah, well, we'll go stop him in between rounds.
No, I mean, it'd be really funny if we let him have it.
I mean, I think that's Cap's call.
Yeah, you're right.
Difficult to tell. So that's gonna wrap up our coverage of round 6. We have
Got-
one more round of Swiss left. So from the EE6 Platinum Satellite here at the Bearded Dragon in Bernardsville, New Jersey, that's gonna be me and Kevin Jones signing off.